You have full conversations in your head with people who aren't there.
You rehearse arguments you'll never have. Most people assume everyone does this.
Most people are wrong. Conversational rehearsal. You sit in a quiet room, but in your mind, a confrontation is taking place. You refine the phrasing, anticipate their exact counterarguments, and adjust your tone until your heart rate rises as if the room were full of real people.
Sometimes you do not even realize you are pacing back and forth across your bedroom floor while orchestrating an entire narrative arc.
You might have recurring internal scenarios that stretch over months or years, complete with ongoing plot lines and familiar mental characters. You assume this is just how human imagination operates when you are bored or stressed. In 2002, clinical psychologist Eli Sommer documented this specific phenomenon, framing it under the concept of maladaptive daydreaming. Using the maladaptive daydreaming scale developed by Sommer, Lehrfeld, and their research colleagues, psychologists began separating ordinary fantasy from immersive internal worlds. When your brain engages in extended conversational rehearsal, it is not simply wasting time.
It is creating a high-fidelity emotional simulator.
Your central nervous system reacts to these imagined exchanges with measurable physiological stress. Cortisol releases, your throat tightens, and your motor cortex triggers subtle muscle movements in your legs and hands, as if you were physically defending yourself in real time. What feels like a personal quirk is actually your brain's attempt to preempt social friction by running millions of predictive calculations. But when the rehearsal becomes more vivid and absorbing than your immediate physical environment, your mind shifts from preparing for reality to substituting it entirely. No inner voice. When you read a book, you likely hear a quiet voice inside your head pronouncing every single word. You probably assume that every person you pass on the street experiences the exact same internal narration. But right now, millions of people are walking through the world in complete, unyielding silence. They do not talk to speeches in sentence form. They do not hear a narrative voice commenting on their day, organizing their choices, or critiquing their mistakes. Instead, their cognitive process operates through raw visual imagery, abstract relational maps, or immediate wordless intention. In 2024, researchers Johanne Nedergaard and Gary Lupyan published groundbreaking work in psychological science, officially coining the term anendophasia to describe the total absence of an internal voice. For centuries, cognitive psychology operated under the assumption that internal speech was a universal human trait required for complex reasoning and verbal memory. Nedergaard and Lupyan demonstrated that people with anendophasia perform differently on verbal recall and rhyme recognition tasks because they cannot mentally rehearse sounds in their head before speaking them aloud. If you hear dead silence when you read this, search anendophasia inner monologue test tonight. You are in the 5% of humanity born without a voice inside their head. For those without an inner monologue, language is purely an output mechanism, not an internal operating system. When they decide to speak, the thoughts translate directly into verbal sound without passing through an internal vocal draft. This means the constant internal commentary you consider central to your conscious identity is not a universal foundation of human thought. It is merely one specific hardware configuration out of several. Subvocal reading. As your eyes move across these words, something remarkable is happening inside your throat. Even though your lips are firmly sealed and you are making no audible sound, the microscopic muscle fibers in your larynx, tongue, and vocal cords are twitching in perfect synchronization with the text.
You are not just processing symbols visually with your brain. You are silently speaking every single syllable down into your throat. For decades, electromyography studies measuring the electrical activity of laryngeal muscles have confirmed that silent reading activates the exact motor pathways used for spoken speech. Your brain cannot process written symbols without translating them back into physical vocal gestures first. This hidden mechanical bottleneck is precisely why the vast majority of adults read at roughly 200 to 300 words per minute, the exact speed limit of human vocal articulation. Commercial speed reading courses frequently market techniques designed to suppress this subvocalization entirely, claiming you can absorb entire pages in seconds by treating text purely as visual data. But neurological research provides a necessary reality check. When speed reading protocols successfully force you to suppress laryngeal micro-movements, your deep comprehension drops precipitously. The silent motor movements in your throat are not an inefficient habit left over from elementary school. They are the physiological anchor that allows your auditory cortex to convert abstract visual shapes into rich semantic meaning, structural memory, and emotional resonance. If you pay close attention right now, you can feel the faint sensation of movement behind your Adam's apple as you digest this sentence. When you cut off the physical voice in your throat, you do not become a faster reader. You simply convert deep comprehension into surface recognition, skimming past meaning to preserve speed. Third-person self-talk. When you make a costly mistake or find yourself under intense social pressure, listen carefully to how you address yourself inside your mind. Do you think, "I need to calm down"? Or do you use your actual first name, saying, "Sarah needs to pull this together right now"? Most people view shifting from first-person to third-person self-talk as a strange, eccentric habit, or perhaps a sign of mild detachment. But if you naturally address yourself by your own name, or as "you," during moments of high anxiety, your brain is utilizing a powerful psychological defense mechanism. At the University of Michigan, psychologist Ethan Kross and his research team conducted pioneering studies on self-talk and psychological self-distancing. Using functional brain imaging and physiological tracking, Kross demonstrated that talking to yourself in the third person instantly alters your brain's emotional processing network. When you use your own name, your brain downregulates activation in the amygdala, shifting your perspective from an endangered participant caught inside the threat to an objective outside observer, analyzing a scenario from a safe distance. If your internal monologue speaks in third person to manage status and stress, Video 03 reveals the 10 hidden rules of human hierarchy your brain is enforcing before you even speak. This simple linguistic shift bypasses the exhausting cognitive effort normally required for emotional regulation. It creates instant psychological distance without draining your executive energy. Instead of drowning inside your own physiological stress response, third-person self-talk tricks your nervous system into accessing the same objective wisdom, clarity, and calm guidance you would effortlessly offer to someone else standing beside you. The wandering mind. You are sitting at your desk trying to read an important document, and suddenly you realize you have spent the last 3 minutes staring at a light fixture while contemplating a conversation from 5 years ago. You did not consciously decide to stop reading. Your attention simply vanished, leaving your eyes moving across lines of text while your conscious awareness was miles away. You likely blame yourself for a lack of discipline, assuming that a focused mind should remain locked onto the task in front of it. In 2001, neurologist Marcus Reichel discovered that when the human brain stops focusing on an external task, it does not power down or rest. Instead, it instantly activates a massive, interconnected neural circuit known as the default mode network. Far from being idle, your brain in default mode is wildly active, consolidating personal memories, assessing complex social dynamics, and modeling future scenarios. In 2010, Harvard psychologists Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert published a landmark study in Science tracking thousands of adults in real time. They discovered that mind-wandering accounts for nearly 47% of your entire waking life. The critical neurological catch is that your default mode network and your task-positive network are anti-correlated. They operate like a strict seesaw inside your skull. When your task-focused network lights up, your default network is suppressed. And when task focus drops, the default network immediately reclaims your awareness. You literally cannot run task-focused execution and deep background mental integration at the exact same instant. Every time your focus slips, your brain is quietly choosing self-reflection over the spreadsheet in front of you. What feels like a frustrating personal failure of concentration is actually your brain's mandatory maintenance cycle kicking in, reclaiming nearly half of your waking existence to process who you are when you stop producing. Talking to objects. When your laptop freezes during a critical deadline, you do not just wait silently. You lean forward and whisper, "Please, just give me 2 more minutes." When your car struggles to turn over on a freezing winter morning, you pat the steering wheel and offer verbal encouragement. When a coffee mug slips from your hand, you might scold it for falling. You know rationally that these inanimate objects possess no ears, no intent, and no consciousness whatsoever. Yet, in moments of frustration or relief, your internal dialogue spills outward, addressing machines, tools, and houseplants as if they were social entities. In 2007, behavioral scientists Nicholas Epley, Adam Waits, and John Cacioppo published a foundational framework in Psychological Review explaining the precise mechanics of anthropomorphism. Popular culture often assumes that talking to objects is a childish trait or a sign of cognitive weakness. But Epley and his research team proved the exact opposite. Talking to inanimate objects is driven by an overactive, highly sophisticated social cognition network. Your brain contains specialized neural hardware dedicated to detecting agency, predicting intent, and establishing social connection. When an object behaves unpredictably or breaks its expected routine, your brain's agent detection machinery immediately fires up. Unable to resolve the unexpected behavior through mechanical logic alone, your mind defaults to its most powerful predictive framework, social intent. You assign personality, stubbornness, and emotion to a piece of plastic or metal because your brain is fundamentally hardwired to understand the universe through human relationships. You are not losing your mind when you bargain with your computer. You are simply witnessing your brain's hyper-social operating system attempting to negotiate with a physical world it refuses to view as cold and indifferent. The Hypnagogic Jerk. You are drifting off to sleep. Your body feels weightless. Your thoughts become fragmented, and you are just beginning to slip into a dream. Suddenly, your entire body violently jolts. You feel an intense, terrifying sensation of stepping off a sudden cliff edge or falling through empty space. Your eyes snap open. Your heart pounds against your ribs, and your breathing comes in sharp, shallow gasps. A second ago, you were inches away from deep rest. Now you are wide awake, flooded with adrenaline, confused by why your physical body just fought so violently against sleep.
Polysomnography studies tracking muscle activity and brain waves during sleep onset reveal that over 70% of all healthy adults regularly experience this benign twitch, known clinically as a hypnagogic jerk. As you transition from waking consciousness into stage 1 sleep, your brain must execute a delicate biological handover protocol. Your motor cortex is supposed to inhibit physical movement while your conscious awareness fades out. But during moments of high fatigue, caffeine intake, or elevated stress, this transition desynchronizes. Your brain's ancient survival centers misinterpret the sudden muscular relaxation and dropping heart rate as a sign of physical collapse, believing that your body is physically tumbling through space or falling from a high branch. Your motor cortex fires a massive emergency impulse to force your limbs back into action before impact. The violent jolt that snaps you awake is not a neurological failure. It is an ancient evolutionary survival mechanism, a primitive safety system firing an emergency flare to save you from a drop that only exists inside your misinterpreting brain. The earworm. A single 14-second fragment of a song you do not even like has been playing on an endless, maddening loop inside your head for 3 straight hours. You try to replace it. You try to ignore it. You try to force your mind onto something else. But the moment your attention drops, the exact same chorus resumes right where it left off. You feel as though your internal audio system has been hijacked by a broken record player that you cannot shut off. In 2012, music psychologist Victoria Williamson and her research team published extensive data on involuntary musical imagery, commonly known as an earworm. They discovered that earworms are triggered by emotional association, recent memory exposure, and low cognitive load. But the reason the fragment loops endlessly is driven by a profound psychological principle known as the Zeigarnik effect. Formulated by psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, this principle dictates that the human brain retains uncompleted tasks and open cycles in active memory far longer than finished ones. When you hear a song fragment cut off abruptly, your brain perceives an open loop and endlessly replays the snippet, trying to find the missing resolution. The most effective, scientifically verified cure for an earworm is not to suppress the sound or fight against it. The cure is to intentionally play or sing the entire song in your mind, all the way to its final closing chord. When you force your internal voice to complete the music, your brain registers the cycle as closed and instantly releases the loop. Because every single phenomenon on this list, from rehearsing conversations to hearing silent throat whispers, from talking to your laptop to jolting awake at night, is driven by the exact same underlying mechanism, a brain running complex background processes it never asked your permission to run. If this one landed, there's a companion to it. Same idea, taken somewhere stranger. It's on screen now.